Hi there. Welcome to my Other's Keeper. Um, we've got some technical issues going on, and Mary, the lovely Blessed to Crochet, will be joining us. Unfortunately, her computer has decided that it's too hot outside to actually work, so she's having to work on some technical issues. So right now, there's just me, and yeah, so it is absolutely a humdinger of a day out there pretty much for everybody. Oh my word, it is so hot. So hot. So give a like and a subscribe and make a comment. Oh, hi Sandy. Okay. So there we go. Hi Sandy. How are you doing today? Um yeah, it's hot here too. Awesome. Where are you at? What state are you in? And what's your temperature? So today got up to, oh, hi, Crystal. Today got up to, I'm just going to Google what that would be 32 Celsius to Fahrenheit. It got up to about 89.6 or 90 Fahrenheit or so. And so, yeah, that was how hot it got here. And I know for some places that's not super hot, but it is definitely a scorcher where I'm from. So, yeah. You're in Pennsylvania and it gets to the 80s, but the humidity is awful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, at home where she lives in California, it's like 115, but dry. Okay. I agree. I don't like humidity. I would much rather, have, oh, it's going to sound awful. In Arizona, it's a dry heat. Well, yeah, in Saskatchewan, we have no oceans beside us, but we're very humid. We have over 100,000 lakes. So we are very humid, which does terrible things to my hair, therefore the hat. Anyway, and yeah. So, Crystal, Sandy, what have you been up to today? Um, I got to talk to Crystal a little bit this morning. So that was nice. But Sandy, tell me about yourself. Tell me whatever you're comfortable letting us know. I don't want to poke and pry and dox you or anything like that. So yeah. Anyway, let's see what else. Oh, you just plugged my channel on my friend's live just now. Okay. Alrighty, that's cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, yes. Hi, Misha. Oh, big hugs to you too. I'm going to be having Misha back probably next month, I think. We haven't made a decision yet, but I do have some time at the end of this month. And yep, Mary is here. She's just trying to get her camera and mic to work. Did I mention it's too hot for her computer to work? Yeah. There must have been a power outage. I was out for a little bit. I had to drive to go pick my daughter up from work. And there must have been a power outage because the computer was off when I came back. My fan was off when I came back. It just was, yeah, it just was not good. So, oh, she's looking for some real hugs and kisses. And here's Mary. Woohoo! Okay, we can't hear you, my friend, so you might be muted.
Now you can hear me.
Now I can hear
Technology.
you. There we go.
We decided to plug in my computer in the hard drive because we thought that if we put it directly into the internet, it would like it better.
Not so much?
I don't know yet. I've got to give my son-in-law funds to build me a better computer than this one, but for right now, it is what I have to work with.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's frustrating because I'm like, can you just turn on and see my camera? You do it, but you don't want to do it today.
Of course not. Okay, can everybody give me a 5 by 5 as to whether you can hear us the same. I'm having a hard time hearing, but it could be my earbuds. So I noticed that on a different feed as well. I was having a hard time hearing people.
I
So
can hear you
no,
loud
it's
and clear.
you can hear me loud and clear. Okay,
Yeah.
5 by 5 sounds great. And Mary, you can hear her no problem. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So Shades of Gray, nice to see you. Um, I don't know if I recall. I am terrible with names. Yeah, terrible.
Well,
Anyway,
I was the one who told her about you, and I said, "You all need to connect," 'cause she's got
yes,
quite a
actually,
story.
and I had been just checking out her channel when you told me that. So yeah, it's just the two of us happened to right at the same time. God's got a
Just
plan.
connecting. Yep, he does.
I know, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that wonderful?
yeah. I just
Yes.
got off the phone with, my dear friend and kinda like an uncle, Scott. I finally got a hold of him, and I put one of his songs on our channel, and I've put
Yes.
one of them for the intro and one of them for the outro, just a little bit, and,
Mhm.
he was just absolutely I think I made his year. He's like, "Somebody else is hearing my music beside me." I was like,
Yes.
"Yes."
Yeah.
And, he
It's
was
just amazing,
thrilled.
isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He was thrilled to death, and, I said, "You won't
Talented
believe
musician. So
that I
good.
got your album in my possession," and he's like, "What? The one done in '68?" I'm like, "Yeah, the one done in '68." He's like, "I can't believe it." I said, "It's on my phone, and it's gotten me a CD, and it's gonna be on my way," and he said, "Can I have a copy?" I'm like, "Of course." And so he was thrilled
Yeah,
to death to know that somebody else is listening to his music beside just himself, and I'm like
absolutely.
so
Yes. Man.
it was amazing watching him grow up and watching Scott literally he was blind from birth. He was actually, uh he was born premature, and then he was put in an incubator, and he was given too much oxygen, and that made him totally blind.
Fried his eyes. Yeah.
Um, but what was amazing is that he didn't have anybody that this was all done by him just listening to a song, going to the piano and playing it. So
Mhm.
growing up and going to places like that had pianos and that we could go watch him play was amazing to watch somebody that couldn't see, but that could sing and
Mhm.
play. It was amazing to watch. As a
Mhm.
little kid, I was just like, "Forget the food, I wanna go over and" you know? And he used to always say, "When you were around," he said, "I used to always my tip jar used to be always full, fuller." And then I
Mhm.
didn't realize that there's a song that I actually have in one of
Oh,
the 2015 CD that I have, like, has, like, 10, 12 songs on it. And I said, "You've gotta send me another copy because Christina just ran that CD and it's all scratched." But he
oh
said
no.
to my mom, he said, "Warmer in the Sun," he said, "I did that song for you." I'm like, "I never knew that."
That is so beautiful.
He said, "'Cause they grew up in the same, the same area, so they knew each other from that experience." And,
Mhm.
then, my grandmother knew him and so forth, and he said he used to come over and I was down, and he said, "You were just nice and loving and kind," and he said, "I always felt better." I said, "Well, I guess I got you covered," was my song, and he said, "Well, not intentionally," but I said, "Well, I named that one, that was mine."
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you haven't changed because you are still loving, kind, joyful,
Yeah,
all of these things, even through the pain of fibromyalgia
yeah,
and any other struggles that you've had to go
yeah,
through. I really admire you, Mary. I
yeah.
think you're an absolutely amazing woman.
Well, there's 2 songs of his that I really liked, and that was the "I Got You Covered," just because of the tone of it, but then "So Proud to Be Me," which I uploaded on our channel, and he said, "You
Mhm.
know what? That was my protest song." And he said, "That was my protest because I was tired of everybody telling me that I shouldn't be myself." And he said,
Yeah.
"Everybody started asking for it because when we go sing at bars and stuff like that." And he said, "I sang it and I started being really proud of who I was." And I said,
Mhm.
"I'm just thrilled somebody's listening to my music." I said, "Well, just think whose great grand whose granddaughter I am." He said, "I shouldn't be surprised." but I didn't know
Yeah,
that one of the songs on that was one he had wrote for my mom. So it was kinda special. It was, like, got teary-eyed from it.
that
So
is special. That is very special. Oh, and you have
I
frozen.
said
Either
to him, I
you have
said,
frozen
I'm
or
gonna
I
upload
have
all of
frozen,
them
one or the other.
onto the thing, and I said, "If you ever want me to." I see myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
I'm not
see me
which
now?
yeah, I can see you. I just don't know which one of us freezes when you're frozen to me. Sometimes I'm the one who's frozen and I don't know it. It's kind of like being stupid. Everybody else around you knows, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
hopefully now I'm
yeah.
not frozen.
Nope, nope. You're not frozen to me. You're all good. Everybody is melted.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
he was one of those people that it's one of those talents within your, life that you knew that he could have been something if he
Yeah.
hadn't have had some situations that happened within his
Mhm.
life. But he was like, "I'm just glad I'm not gonna go leave this world with anybody hearing my music." I said, "Oh, no, they're gonna hear it
That's right.
because I'm gonna make
You're
dang on sure of it."
you're a great advocate. Yes.
Well, I had to raising Christina. I had to be a
Yep.
fighter. Um,
Absolutely.
I have uploaded she's wanted me to upload a GoFundMe account because she wants to become a dog trainer. Um,
Yes, I saw that.
and so the training that is gonna suit us probably about $70,000. And so we started a GoFundMe. She's like, "I don't think I'll ever get there." I'm like, "You will. You'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get there."
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So,
Yeah.
okay, Misha is gonna have to skip out for the chat for a few, but she's gonna listen. Thank you, Misha. Um, so what has been keeping you busy lately? I've been learning to crochet.
I've done crochet work. I don't go a day without crochet. Um,
Oh, I do.
uh, I was last week. I was just I went to my counselor and I'm like, she's like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "Where's your depression sitting?" And I'm like, probably about in the middle." I didn't know why I was sad. Um, the recent kind of news to some degree is that my aunt's cancer is spreading.
Oh no,
So that I'm sure had something to affect. They found two
for
more
sure.
spots on her lungs. And I guess in the records was stated that, she wants to stop chemo, she can. Um, and I couldn't, I went on, I was like, I don't know why I'm down. I'm just down, which is part of fibromyalgia anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and it's part of life, I think. And I
Mhm.
think it was Tommy's birthday, and I came on because I wanted to, do something a little special on my channel for his birthday. And I just said to people, I don't know why. And when I got done with it, I thought, Mary, you're, you know, what makes you help you feel better is to get on and connect with people. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
Why are you not just crawling in a hole? And I think sometimes we forget
Mhm.
the power that that has,
Mhm.
to help us, feel better, whether it's dealing with fibromyalgia or dealing with,
Yep.
life itself. Um, thank you, Misha. I'm waiting for her to say I'm done, and I just hope that that she'll go without a lot of pain. Um, that's what I'm hoping for.
Where
As
is her
soon as
cancer located? I don't recall.
liver and lung, and they
Mm.
found two more spots on her liver or her lung. Um,
Okay.
so it's growing. Um, and she's a fighter, but I mean, she's been smoking for what, 45 years of her life, and
Mhm.
I don't see her stopping. So it's kind of like you're going through chemo, but you're smoking. There's no way for. I
Well,
think all the
why
chemo is doing is just helping her to not be in agony,
Right.
you know?
My brother-in-law has lung cancer. He was given, I think, 5% survival chances over 5 years. And it's 6 years ago, and he's kicking.
Yeah,
He is just going. Uh, but as an advocate for lung cancer survivors and those who are living with it, he likes to tell people that smoking only causes like less than 10% of all lung
yeah.
cancers. And that's like, I'm not saying smoking gets a bad rap because smoking sucks.
Yes.
It's really not healthy.
Yes.
But the vast majority of people who've had lung cancer have never smoked, don't have secondhand smoke. They might have other contaminants in their vicinity, kind of thing. Um, but there was no reason whatsoever for my brother in law to get lung cancer. He just did.
Yeah.
He found cancer in each of his breasts, and a couple of weeks later, they found the cancer in his lungs. The breast cancer has all been taken care of, and it was taken care of right away. But the lung cancer, it's an ongoing concern, and it will he will end up dying with it. He may not die of it,
Yeah.
but he will die
Well,
with it.
I think that she has the factor of both the stage 4 lung cancer and then you have the liver cancer.
Mm,
You have both.
mhm,
And I think that between the 2 of them,
mhm,
there's going to be, you know, the expectation is if it's growing, then it's only a matter of time. It's not
yeah.
it was reducing, but she was in the hospital recently because they found a blockage and they said usually that means that it's growing within the liver. So, you know, um,
Okay.
so I'm concerned for she knows where she's going. She's a
Oh, yeah.
believer. She's got quite a testimony. If she would ever I don't think I could ever have her do it, but I'd love for her to tell her testimony because she's a
Mhm.
survivor of drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol. Um, but I'm more worried for her daughter who is deals with mental illness after she's
Mhm.
gone. Um, that that may put her into a spin that's going to be there's nothing that we can do to help her. Um,
Right.
so that's where it's like, okay, once that happens, what's going to happen to the other? And then,
Yeah.
um, and it hasn't been easy for a family dynamic because I have another relative within that situation that's just decided that we're not worthy to be talked to anymore. So that's been really
Mm.
hard.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
to deal with that,
That's
and I just
heartbreak.
sit there thinking, "This is how you want my aunt to leave, knowing that there's no talking happening between us?" And thinking, I just shake my head to it thinking, "I will tell the story one day, but it won't be until the person's gone." But I just sit there and go,
Mhm.
"Is it worth anything to disconnect from family? No matter what there is certain circumstances and situations for
I
that,
was gonna
but
say, yeah, there are a
there
few
are, but it's
circumstances I can
like,
see, but that's not where you're at.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't worthy of anything to be that
Mm.
hurtful and and there's nothing that I can do. I've put off several months. So I'm gonna write my letter. I'm gonna write my letter. And I've just put it off and put it off.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I've got to get it done. And this one needs to be mailed because my voice was taken away from the ability to say, okay, if you've said this, now here's my final say. And you can choose whether you want to come back in with boundaries, like I did
Yeah.
with my grandmother. She came back in and I said, but
There have to be boundaries.
these are the boundaries. We're not going through
Yeah.
this again.
Yeah. Nope.
So, but then
Mm.
realizing the importance of finding the lifeboat and then finding family. You, Kristen, Mona, those people that have become people I know I can count on when things are down. And my
Mhm.
husband said to me recently, "Is there anything wrong?" I said, "I can't tell you what it is. It's probably that time of my life too." which my therapist,
Yeah.
it's probably a lot of hormones going on, and I'm like, "Yeah, I just celebrated a birthday," and, you know, I know that as a fibromyalgia patient, that change that happens within a woman's body during that time is going to be even more challenging,
Right.
and I've been told that. You're going to go through more, you're gonna have more pain and all that kinda stuff, than
Mm.
somebody that doesn't. Um, so as much as I really wanted to say, "Okay, I can come on and I can do a live every day," there's no way. That
Realistically speaking, you do have to follow what your body says, right?
Yeah, and it's like we usually do Lighthouse Mondays, and everybody
Yes.
kinda helps with that a little bit,
Hmm.
because I can't do it all by myself, but at the same time, I was like, I just went honest, I can't do it tonight.
Yeah.
We went to we went to the store and we came home and I hadn't been feeling good all week and I was like, "You know what? I'm not doing this tonight."
Yeah.
But that's why we've kind of uploaded like the topic Thursday and the devotion Tuesdays and the shorts and stuff like that because it's other stuff going up for everybody,
Yeah.
but realizing as a fibromyalgia patient that I have limitations.
That's right. See,
I
one of my limitations is that my husband gets mad at me if I watch too much YouTube. So I don't get to watch all of your content. I don't get
Yeah,
to watch all of, like, there's probably 2 or 3 channels that I really, if they're on, I watch them as often as I can. Unfortunately, people who've become friends over this platform, I
yeah,
haven't been able to support, like yourself. I haven't been
yeah.
able to support as much as I really, really want to, you know?
Well, I
But
think we do the best we can.
exactly.
I was I was thinking about it recently because I thought about it in this sense, in the way that when we're looking at channels and so
Mhm,
forth and that kind of thing is that if we realize and like Tommy was talking about people getting upset because, they make money off it or what have you, what it
mhm,
is that, when we think about it, when you are invited to somebody's house for a get together. Now, I know my grandmother would have said, "You've got to bring something." Usually we're bringing something or we're taking our car, we're spending gas, we're going to the party, we're knocking on the door. Well, that's the subscribe button. That's you
yes,
saying,
exactly.
"Hey, I'm here." That's the
Mhm,
doorbell. And then you're walking into the hostess or the hostess or host and going in and enjoying that party. Well, that's the live content that you're being participated in front of. And
yeah,
then you're connecting with other people, and when you leave, that's hitting the like button. When the video is over, if you're able, you go back and say thank you for a good time, that's like a thank you note. But the host or the hostess has had to invest in a camera or a mic or lights or whatever it is, just like a party. I know my daughter's wedding, we had catering and we had food and we had the DJ and we had all this kind of expenses. So they're having those expenses in front of 'em, like, eventually, as much as I
yeah,
don't wanna spend the money, we're gonna need a new computer.
yeah,
This one is eventually gonna say, "I'm done.
yeah,
I'm old, I need to retire and get a new one." And then
yeah.
so I think if we think of it that way, it changes the way it is because we're producing something for people that gives them the ability to come in and connect with other people,
Mhm,
when sometimes they can't for whatever reason is they're dealing with a disability or they're taking care of somebody or they're taking care of a special needs child, can't go out there and do it. This week
yeah.
I was no good for anybody. Spent a lot of
Mm,
time in my room this week and
mhm,
just or last week, it was last week. And I
mhm,
I just crocheted and I was tired and I just I didn't have the energy for anything.
yeah.
And where do you go out when you have that?
Yeah, it's almost impossible. Um, this over this last weekend, I, participated in an art show, an art sale at a lake, what,
I
3
saw
hours
that.
from my place. It's wonderful. We had so much fun, and it was 2 days, just, it wasn't busy, but you had to be engaged the whole time. And as soon as that is done, my whole system goes, okay,
You're exhausted.
you need to shut down. You're tuckered. Yeah. You have to shut down. You have to just be. And then I've got another one coming up this coming Sunday. And then I've got another one coming up the next Friday and Saturday. So, I mean, it's like, okay, these 3 weeks in a row are going to be heavy, 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 heavy emotionally.
So if you
Um,
don't do game day, everybody's gonna understand.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I think
Yeah.
that like I was saying to you when we were kinda talking about our topic, I think we're just gonna let it roll, but
Yeah.
said, at the same time, I think talking about connection and talking about the value of what this platform has
Hmm.
done for people, and I have
Hmm.
I have been I usually watch a series when I start crocheting a bunch anyway, and I've started watching
Hmm.
90210. Now I was a big fan of 90210 when I was growing up, and, I never watched the entire thing, and I said, "I'm gonna sit and watch all 10 seasons and watch it to its entirety." I'm watching this whole thing going, "This is nothing but drama."
Hmm.
Nobody stays together except for the parents.
Nope.
This person stayed with this person, then this person goes with this person, then that person, and I'm thinking there's always something that's good, and then this drama hits. And I
No.
know for myself as a fibromyalgia, I stay away from drama. I'm like, I don't want anything to do, don't want drama, don't
Yep.
want stress, don't want anything. But, like Tommy was talking about when he was doing those shows with Danny Masterson, they were
Hmm.
clicking on him because it was drama. It was sensationalism.
Yep. That's what moves the story forward is the drama and
It's
the resolving of the drama. But then once it's resolved, what's next? Right? There
Yeah,
has to be more drama.
and people are addicted to that.
And people live their lives like that too, like they just can't live in peace. Um, sorry, Misha wore the same outfit as Shannon Doherty two times or two different times, once in the same day.
Well, I was in mind you, Luke Perry grew up in Frederickstown, Ohio, and that's probably about an hour
Hmm.
from me. Small little town. But,
Yeah.
um, I was in the mall. We named it Luke Perryville down in Plantation, Florida, and he came to that mall. And I'm telling you, the rush of kids running to the stage. He came in for 2 seconds and he was exited out so quickly. And there was 3 levels to this mall, and the whole floors were shaking. The weight of people screaming for Luke Perry, and my mom was petrified because I was there with a friend, and she thought, "I'm gonna lose
Yeah.
sight to, like, marrying this girl, this friend of mine, in this sea of crowd." I mean, they had to close down the entire mall,
Hmm.
but I thought it was really interesting because I kind of did it with Elvis too. I kind of learned a little bit about, I liked his music, and then as I got older, I wanted to know more about Elvis. Kinda done
Hmm.
a little bit of dive in Luke Perry. And he was on with Jason Priestley, and he said, "You know
Hmm.
what? We decided when we started the show, we were gonna tape our first show, and we were gonna eventually tape the last one." And he said, "We decided we're gonna be each other's accountability partner." He said, "Because that show really didn't hit till Luke Perry came on the scene, and
Yeah.
then it exploded." And he said, "We're coming to work, we're doing our job, and we're leaving." And he said, "We're here to get a paycheck. We're here to do a job." And he was
Wow.
asked a question. He said, "Do you think that you were a role model to some of those kids?" He said, "I hope to God I wasn't." He said, "I was 23. I didn't have any kids of my own at the time." He said, "I hope to goodness gracious I wasn't a role model to any of them." He said, "The only role model I am is to two people, and that's his two kids." He said, "Every parent needs to be their own role model to their kids." And
Hmm.
I thought that was pretty insightful,
Yes. Yeah, that's deep.
that he just said
Profound, I think. Profound is the word.
you know,
Yeah.
just that he just said to Jason Priestley, "We're gonna just be each other's accountability department. We're not gonna let our heads get too big."
Right.
And I'm thinking, "Smart move." And he said, "Thank God we didn't have social media back then."
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. I'm
you
so
know,
grateful social media wasn't around when I was that age. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
he said where people
Oh, the
were
shenanigans.
snapping pictures left and right, but I thought, if Luke
Yeah.
Perry and Jason Priestley realized that they needed to have each other as an accountability partner to deal with this massive fame the 2 of them were gonna be inundated with,
Mhm, mhm.
why don't think we don't need it? We do need it.
Yeah,
They needed peer support in the same kind of area they were sitting in. Well, why don't we think we need it
yeah, absolutely.
to get through whatever we're getting through? We may not totally understand it, but I thought that was pretty smart of those 2 young men.
Especially being so young at the time, you know,
Yep,
usually at that age, there isn't the whole in-depth self-reflection going on, right? So, I mean,
exactly.
that's important.
I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And I got a present yesterday from my
Ooh,
husband. I got
nice.
a rocking chair.
Oh, a rocking chair.
I've been wanting to get a portable rocking chair, one that you could carry out because we have a place I can go sit out here. And I've
Okay,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
go get one where I could just take it over and just sit outside and crochet and just sit in the rocking chair. And there was one at Sam's Club for like $60. And he said, "Happy
Ooh.
anniversary," because we are celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary on the 21st of July. So
Ha
it made it
happy
through 17
anniversary.
years. I don't know how I did.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
I
you've never thought
christened
of divorce. Murder, maybe, but not divorce. So,
No,
yeah.
we had been through both of us had been through divorce, and we just said, "We have
Okay,
3 ground rules, and if you break any 3 of those, we're done." He's
right?
then the D word will be get put up, but other than that, the ship is burned, it's to the ground, and
Yeah.
it hasn't been easy, and when he's ready, he said he would come on and talk about a diagnosis that it was not a, fatal illness
Mhm,
diagnosis that he received or anything like that, but he did
mhm.
receive a diagnosis last year. It's his story to tell, um, but it
Yeah.
is a very rare, uh, thing, and, um, it's it makes it difficult, and, but he's still my
Yeah.
best friend,
Yep.
even through the difficult times.
And we promise in sickness and in health.
Yep,
Mental illness is just a sickness.
yeah,
And as long as, just like any other illness, as long
yeah,
as you are doing your best to beat it or treat it, you can only do what you can
yeah,
do, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
just to say how rare it is in the sense of without naming it, the doctor
Mhm.
said his primary doctor said, "If you have it, you'll be the first patient I've seen outside of the textbooks in 30 years."
Ooh.
So, it's something that I hope when
Oh.
he's ready, he'll talk about it, and he'll
Yeah.
want me to be there, of course, but I think that it would be good for them to get out because it's such a rare condition, and the fact that he's even
Wow.
here on this earth is because God
It's a
intended for him
miracle.
to be here.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
but we're I saw that rocking chair the other day. He said, "You really want a rocking chair?" And I'm like, "Yes, I've been wanting a rocking chair so I could take it out there and just sit and crochet
Mhm.
and rock." It's just
Yeah.
comforting. So if
So
anybody
is it
needs a rocking
essentially a
chair, go to
lawn
Sam's Club.
chair? Is it essentially a lawn chair with rockers? Is that
Yeah, it's
what it
like
would be?
but it's a really
Okay.
sturdy one, so it's like a
Okay.
one of those seats, but it's a rocking chair, and I kept going back and forth on it, and he goes, You're gonna get it." He said, "Don't worry about it right now, we'll take care
Nice.
of it," but I've been
Oh,
looking for
nice.
one. I
Yeah.
wouldn't go out when it's roasting, but when it's cool out, just to be able to sit because I've realized, like, last week when I really kind of stuck in my room because I was just dealing with a lot of different things that I
Yeah.
thought, "I need to get something where I can go s" and we do have chairs, but I need something like this where I can go sit outside maybe at 8:30 at night when it's cool enough to
Mhm.
get out, and when I can't get out, but I need to get out, and I need to not be in the same place and just
Yeah.
changing the environment.
Yeah.
Um, we can accept whatever is thrown at us, but we can have times of being angry at it. And I think
Yeah.
I've gone through that thing of, you know, I'm not gonna allow fibromyalgia to control me, but,
Yeah.
you know, just the waking up and it's just after a while when you go to bed and you're sore and you wake up and you're sore and there's no break
Mm,
within the pain, it's like,
no.
can I just have a moment where I don't hurt?
Hmm. So
And
let's talk about how, what kind of self care are you able to do? Um, like you said, you crochet. Now you can go out in your rocking chair.
yeah.
What else can you do
Um,
for self care?
Making sure that I'm staying connected and realizing that that's, it's not a chore. Um,
Right.
I think people that are not sitting behind the camera don't realize how
Hmm.
much work goes in.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting right now on our channel, we're sitting at 750, and that didn't come on
Nice.
by just accident at all.
No, no.
It takes a lot of being, which is good because you're in connecting with people all the time and you're looking for live format. And we started adding like some of those nature streams onto it
Mhm. Mhm.
because people like we love that, and so we're going to put wind up tonight. That was a request.
Ooh,
Brazy Girl wanted the whales, that's why that got on there. Um,
nice.
so I'm like, "Well, it's on other places, why shouldn't it be here?" So
Absolutely.
and,
Absolutely.
um, but it takes a lot more work than people realize, and I think
Yeah,
that you as a content creator, you need to make sure that you're self-caring for yourself. If it means that you need to
yeah,
back off for a couple days and get
yeah,
yourself in a good place, then that's what you need to do. I can't
yeah,
tell you what hit me last week. I don't even know.
yeah.
My husband's just
The
like, "You're really irritated," and I'm like, "Yep," and I can't tell you why.
mm.
So
The
it was
amount of content you have on your channel, like you said, it takes a lot of work,
it does.
which is one of the biggest reasons I don't have that amount of content on my channel. I can't wrap my brain around doing that much work. And it may sound weird, it may sound selfish. I don't know. But I just, that amount of work is more than what I can mentally do, which is really frustrating for me. Um, it's also why I can't have a full time job or a part
Yeah,
time job actually right now. Just my brain will not wrap around having to have to, like,
yeah.
just the whole idea of you have to do something. My brain rebels and I just literally fall asleep. I'll shut down. And
Well,
I wish that was not the case.
the there's I get help. I don't do it by myself, and I think that that's
Yeah,
one of the big takeaways. My mom is doing some uploads of some shorts and stuff,
nice.
and that helps. And doing the pre-recorded content, which you think, "Oh, that'd be really easy, just do the pre-recorded content," but it's actually
Well, you
harder to
have to
do the
take the time to
pre-recorded
record it,
content
don't
than
you?
it is the live stuff,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
We're I think we have 850 more watch hours to go.
Hmm.
See, I'm a determined person.
Yes.
I just have that spirit in me that I'm just like, "Okay, if I know that what I'm doing is something that was set up in order to be able to help my mom right now, just
Hmm.
get deal with some expenses for my dad, and if
Yeah.
that helps her and
Yeah.
the monetization goes to her and it helps, and eventually
Hmm.
goes to the point where it helps Josh get his dog,
Yes.
fibromyalgia won't stop me. It
Nope.
may not get me there as quickly as I could if I didn't deal with it,
Hmm.
but I think that we need to say that we need to make sure that we're self-caring for ourselves. If it means I go to
Hmm.
Sam's Club and buy a rocking chair that I can take outside so I'm not stuck in a room.
Absolutely. Yep.
If it means another thing that we're gonna start my husband and I are gonna start doing is going to the pool. but it has been closed, and I get in
Oh,
this mood of going, and then I stop, and I shouldn't because it's good
why is it
before it got
closed?
well, they were just doing some kind of the YMCA, it was they were just doing some
Some
kind of
maintenance or something?
maintenance or whatever. We need to go back,
Yeah.
and, the day that I did go recently, I was like, I felt better when I got done,
Mhm.
and they have a jacuzzi, and so that helped too, and I was like, I need to do that."
Yeah,
It's that point of like, "Do I really have to go do it?" And then you just don't wanna do it. It's getting in the routine of making sure that you're doing the self-care that you need.
exactly. And Misha, that's why she's so grateful to the people she's promised to do things for having patience with her
Yeah,
and understanding. It's only her. She's the only one who's doing it,
yeah,
and she gets her in her own way, and don't we all?
yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
I said
knowing
go ahead.
knowing that she's able to take her time and do it without stress of letting them down is so comforting.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. Knowing that others understand that you can only do what you can do, and asking them to do more is going to do nothing but slow them down further and hurt
Exactly.
them, and everybody's just going to just feel gross about it. So, yeah.
Well, and Misha and I, when she knows when she's ready and she can, I
Mhm.
have promised her that, um, she's gonna do a logo, um, for, for in honor of her daughter, and I'm gonna put that on my merch store, and any funds raised from that shirt is gonna go directly to her nonprofit she wants to do in her daughter's honor.
Oh, that is so
So, that
wonderful.
was something that I felt very led to do. I said, "Take my logo, do whatever you want with it, create the shirt.
Yeah.
I will put it up
Yeah.
exactly how you have it and anything coming from that." Now, I did just put Christina's GoFundMe page in there.
Mhm.
Anybody that wants to share it, on any of their social media platforms can. Um, Christina doesn't feel like she can do this, and I've said, "You can." She has a
Absolutely.
tremendous knack for dogs and a love
Yeah.
for especially the pit bull breed. Um, I know people have their, you know, their their pros and cons for pit bulls, and I get that, but
And the
she
preconceived notions of
yes,
what can and can't and should and
yeah,
shouldn't, and yeah,
but she has a
that
very special place in her heart for those, I think, because 'cause they're the underdogs. I think any
yeah,
underdog she has because she's felt like that. And,
same.
the place that she works does offer training to be certified as a dog trainer, but there's a
Nice.
cost with it. So
Of
and
course.
she wants to do it, and I said, "Well, all we
Okay,
can do
and
is
how much
try,
is
right?"
the cost?
About 7 to $8,000.
7 to $8,000. Okay,
So we'll get
okay.
there, one step at a
And
time.
then even once you have that, you have to have the time to be able to put into it.
Yeah.
So that means you have to have more money simply to live on for that period of time. So
Well,
probably closer to
she would probably still work at the place she is at, and she could
okay.
promote to dog trainer, but she has to be
Oh,
certified. And then eventually she said,
oh,
eventually down the road, if she didn't wanna work and she was maybe raising children and she had the knowledge of being a dog trainer, she could do her
right.
own private at that point. But she's like, "Mom, this is what I wanna do." And I'm like, "Well, I could have told you that years ago if you listened to me." But,
Yep.
um, so,
Moms know. We know.
they they know,
Yeah.
so I wanted to do that, and I called her yesterday, I said, "How much do you trust me?" She goes, "Like, 100%, mom," and I said, "Good." I said, "Let me have your information for your YouTube channel." So I set her up her own fourth wall store, and
Perfect.
Alfonso, which I told him that he needs to connect with you too, did a
Yeah.
logo for her because
Yeah.
her page is Chrissy's we renamed it Chrissy's Cosplay Wardrobe because she loves
Okay.
free cosplay stuff. So I said and he did a really cool logo. So she's like, "Mom, I'm gonna have my own merch store." And I'm like, "Yeah, see what moms do?"
Awesome. Yep. I have my own merch store. It's a fourth wall store. My other's keeper. Fourth wall. Let me see if I can just Oh, no, don't do that. I'm going to go to a different page so that I can do this and copy, and I will paste here. There we go. That's my fourth wall store.
Yeah.
And it has my logo on a variety of items. And I don't have fun sayings and things like that at the moment, but it is simply the logo to show that you are your other's keeper,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, I
yeah,
I just I just have the one that says, no llama, which is the one? Because
no drama
Alphonse is,
llama.
yeah, that one. I just have that one for right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is the one. Alfonso does the music, which I'm on his every week trying to help him with his channel with when he does
Hmm.
music. But he's also a tremendous graphic artist. If this doesn't tell you, no matter
Mm,
what disability you have, and I talked to him today, nothing should stop you.
hmm.
This is somebody that's legally blind, but this is the
Yeah,
logo he did for Christina
there we go. Oh, is that ever pretty?
with the lion, like the Narnia lion.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the logo
that's
he did.
gorgeous.
And then, it was really important to me that when I recently decided to change my, my intro and my outro, I used Scott's music. Well, one of his songs was "I Got You Covered," and I thought about what you say too about we're each other's keepers,
Hmm.
and I said, "You know what? I got you. I got you covered. You've got me covered," and that kind of thing. So I wanted to do a shirt in honor of Scott Thompson, and we're gonna be putting this on a shirt, and he did this for me.
We got you covered, Scott Thompson. Oh, that's great. Lovely record.
Yep,
That's a
and then
great
on the back,
idea.
it's gonna say "Stay connected," because at the end of the day, we have to have each other covered and have each other's backs.
Absolutely.
That's
Yep.
all that's all what it comes down to.
Yep.
I think if it hadn't been for the lifeboat, I woulda never met you,
No.
and
And
I'm
I would
so glad
never
I
have met
did.
Sandy, and I never would have met Misha. Crystal, I'd still know. But I mean, then it just would have been the two of us. We wouldn't
Yeah,
have the connection, the ability to reach out in our own ways where we need it, have replies, and have the ability to have somebody else speak into our lives. Like, and that's essential. That's something that, and I hate to say it, I think as women, I know men need it, but
not as
women,
much.
it's like breathing. If you
Part of our
don't have it,
DNA,
it is. It
you know?
really is.
But
Absolutely.
I think that we need different viewpoints, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
different.
Don't be in an echo chamber.
Oh, yeah. Like, the more friends that I'm getting through this wonderful thing we call the big red button, I'm
Hmm.
finding out that there are different people coming in for different viewpoints.
Hmm.
I'm getting different things that I need, and people were like sitting there going, make sure you're not, suffering in silence. And I wasn't. Um, but realizing I don't need to not closing myself off is not going to help anything.
Hmm.
It's only gonna make me more down in the dumps than I need to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and I know coming up with the changes that is happening in Patty's life, that's gonna be a hard one when
Hmm.
that happens, and it's only going to be harder because
Yeah.
of the other factor in that family situation that should not have been there. And
The
so
disconnection. Yeah.
y y it it's like losing to it when it happens, it's, I already
Oh,
kind of feel like I've lost the one
absolutely.
person. But when that happens, I'm gonna need people
Yep.
and to get through it because it's gonna be hard. And I think realizing that that's probably going in that direction and realizing that I probably won't ever see her again here. Thankful that she was able to be at Christina's wedding in
Yeah.
2022 and be there and so forth, but I never thought that she'd get on a plane and be like, that was gonna be it,
Yeah.
and when you're going through a tough time, whatever it is, realize that this contraption that we've all kind of, got into
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
done through finding the lifeboat
Mhm.
is there for all of us to be a support.
Yeah.
You know, I've cried on camera. Should we be ashamed of that? No.
No.
It shows other people that, you know what, when you're going through a tough time, what do you do?
Absolutely. It actually makes you more approachable, not less, right? Um, oh, hi, Janet. Carry on. I like your new name. Um,
I like it too.
yeah, no, when you cry, when you actually show legitimate emotions, not just the fake crocodile tears, when you show legitimate emotions, whether it's joy, fear, uh, crying, any of those things, just people recognize it and people
Yeah,
can connect with that. And when it's touching you in one way, it will touch somebody else. It may not
exactly.
be that day, it may be in 2 years, somebody happens across your channel
Yeah.
and sees that. And God knows that's the person right there who needs it.
That that needs to hear it,
Absolutely. Yep.
you know. And we're just all there and we just need to, we can't the number of channels that have grown out of the lifeboat, I think it's almost impossible to think that we could be there supporting
Oh,
every
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah.
But when we can, we should.
Hmm.
I've also started a playlist on blessing through connection that I did a ripple playlist. So it's going to take time to build, but I've started adding channels into there so that the people from the lifeboat can go to that channel, find that playlist, and they have
Cool.
one video per channel in there for people to go in and go,
So,
okay, this is one.
and then they can subscribe through that
Yes.
one video. Oh, Mary, see, you've got such amazing ideas.
Well,
Honestly, I
well,
honestly would never have thought of that. That's brilliant.
well, we went back with this for a while with trying to find ways of people doing lists and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, this is going to get really confusing really
Yep,
quickly. And I thought, wait a
absolutely.
minute, there's a way to do it. Now I have other playlists on that channel, but I have a playlist that is called nothing NBR, nothing but ripples. And I've
Okay.
started it. I have to add your channel yet to it. Um, but it's literally all of the channels so that people can go one place, look up that playlist, type it in, and go through it and subscribe. To
Hmm.
me, that's the easiest way. And since I'm a mod on the lifeboat, I can put that list in for people
Yes.
saying, who are all the ripples?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And they can go and they can do it. But I have to literally go in and add it. It's going to take a while to build,
It's gonna take time. Oh,
but
wow.
it's a start. And I think that's going to be the easiest way of having everybody's channel that's on the lifeboat in one place.
Right.
At least it's the part
See,
that I can help with.
yeah. Like I've had people ask me about specific people I've had chats with here on. I don't like interview. Interview's the wrong word, but have had chats with here on my channel. And so I have a Mary list, and I
Yeah,
have a Crystal list, and I have a Misha list.
yeah,
And so, like as the number of times we chat go, people will be able to see the
yeah.
changes, the growth, the joys, the sorrows, the everything as it organically happens, right? And so I'm really grateful for that. I don't know why my hand is suddenly very itchy right there. No mosquito bite. Just
Well, I've done that too on our channel. I've done
yes,
playlists, like,
and
you
you
have a
gave me the
playlist.
idea.
Um,
Yep,
what I don't do on our channel is I never put a playlist together that's not our content, because I
right.
find it frustrating when you
Yep.
go to other channels and they ask you if you could watch some of their playlist stuff, and you go going, "Is this yours or is it them?" And you're trying to divide who's what and who's and it's too
Yeah,
confusing. But
yeah.
the other channel was created to do what it's doing,
To
which
do
is to put up channels and put up playlists and have people have a bank of stuff to go to, and if that gets monetized, wonderful. If it doesn't, then it's there to help.
yep.
Um, but I just thought we had people said, "What about that list?" And I'm like, "You have no idea how hard this list is going to be to get done. This
Am
is
I
so
on
much
that list
easier."
yet? This is the question.
I have to put the bless you're one I have to add to. You're on that list, but it to try to do a spreadsheet that we gotta put up, I was like, no, this is
Wow.
this is gonna be so much easier to just put all the ripples in one place and just be
Yep,
able to share that playlist and everybody could take it and they can subscribe to whoever they want.
yep.
Just
Well,
trying
yeah,
to make it the easiest.
the what's it starts with the D, name has escaped me. It's the place where everybody gets together that Tommy can't
Discord.
navigate. Thank you. Discord. Yeah, I have a hard time with that too. But see, but a playlist I can
Yeah,
do. I can just take this and go click,
yeah,
whereas Discord I have to actually know stuff
yeah,
and know how to navigate it. And that's not where I am mentally. So yeah.
yeah. See, I've been busy
Uh,
crocheting too.
oh, it's so cute. Oh, so whose little gremlin is gonna
Nobody.
have okay.
Sandy Wandy, I have been around the beaten path with these darn cupcakes.
Yes,
This
yes.
this this was the first one, and I have to mail you
Mhm.
one too. This was the
Okay.
first one, right? And what I
Yes.
didn't like about it was that these little ruffles kind of all sunk in. Then I did one
Mm.
for Kristen that looked a little bit better, but I still wasn't totally thrilled with it. I could have Mocha play with it, she'd probably tear it up. This is now the final one, which actually really
Oh,
looks like a cupcake now.
that's awesome. Love it.
Because of the little
Love it.
ruffles. So this one's for me, finally, and I ordered little labels to put down here, that say "Blessed to Crochet," and, I've got
Yes.
ones for Tommy and Spanx over there, but it gives me the ability to do a bunch of tops.
Oh, yeah,
The one thing about Fourth Wall is they let you put up your own stuff,
they do. Yep.
so Sandy Wendy wanted these cupcakes in the Fourth Wall store, so I'm doing them, and then I can put them up and let people choose and tell me what bottoms they want, and they can have a cupcake if they want. Um,
Brilliant.
that she's gonna name them.
Yes. Oh, nice. And Mary, I still owe you a painting. Oh, look at that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that
there's
looks like a
some,
festival.
like, I thought of you with this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because of your
Nice.
paint pour, you know what I mean? But,
Yes,
anyway, like, there's things like
absolutely.
this that no matter what I
Yep.
do, they're gonna look identical. Not
Yep.
identical, but you're not gonna be able to tell the difference if I do 5 of these.
Right.
But
Right.
ones like this one, they're 2 very different.
Even if it's done with the same yarn,
It's the
because of the
same
way that it's
skein, but it's
yep,
different. And this
that's
one
right.
was the same skein. It's leftover these were all leftover scrap yarn. There are
Oh,
3.
wow.
Look how different they came out.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
So it's the same skein, it's leftover. Can I bring it over? Like, I've had this skein of yarn for I don't know how long that I'm not gonna be able to use for much of anything.
Mm,
It's just laying around. It's beautiful, but I can put
it
it
is.
into this and then just say to people, "Those are the scrap yarn cupcakes.
Yeah.
If you want one, choose your bottom and I'll send it off." It's a great way to use leftover yarn. And
Yes.
I told Sandy she was the one that wanted it, so I said, "Come up with the name." But these 2 I can put as standard and say I've got 10 of them.
Yep.
But these other ones I'll have to do individual because they're literally the same skein, but they're totally different
Right.
ones.
Exactly.
And I put her soap caddies up there. I saw you making your soap caddy.
Yes. And I'm
Did you
putting up
try to
my
sell any of them?
I did. there were no takers. But hey, I mean, there was just a, yeah, it was just an idea.
But
Um,
then I was gonna put things like this on the fourth wall store and say, at least have them up for people that need a baby shower
Absolutely.
gift
Absolutely.
and say, "Here, if you wanna
Yes.
order it," because I think we forget the importance of being able to have something like this, and I've only done one booty. Have something like this and give it to somebody as a gift and be able to say, "You give this to a little one,
Yep.
they wear it for a little bit, they
Yep.
then keep it." If you don't think the mother keeps it, they keep it.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh,
they
yeah.
they pass it on, and then when that one has a little child, then it's something that their child wears. We have a
Mhm.
100-year-old blanket that was made by my great-grandmother. I can't
Oh,
touch it because it's
Mary.
wool, but it's crocheted, but it's still
Oh,
passed
Mary.
down instead of just going to the store and picking up something.
Yep.
I think we
Yep. And
forget the
neither of my
novelty.
daughters, both of my daughters have told me not to expect them to have children. So mine have just kind of,
But that may change.
that may eventually change with my one daughter. My other daughter, I have 100% confidence that it won't. But um, it's just that particular child was never maternal. Even like with baby dolls, it wasn't her trying to be a mommy to those baby dolls. It was baby interacting with baby. Once she got to the point where she would have to play house or baby or whatever, dolls were gone, and she would just play her imaginary games. And both of my girls were fantastic at just making up games in their heads.
Yeah.
And one is now a dungeon master, so a DM for Dungeons and Dragons for a few different groups. And so all of these things just made
Yeah.
up in her head. She doesn't follow the books or whatever. When the girls were learning D&D, um, I said, okay, when I was growing up in the 80s, D&D was blamed for a lot of things. And there were really stupid people out there doing things in the name of dungeon master, or killing somebody just to collect this, and those actually happened.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I told the girls, I said, okay, this is what I know about D&D, which isn't a ton, but it's what I know. You are not allowed to be a witch, a warlock, wizard, or anything like that. That is not allowed. You are not allowed to cast spells. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
So I had some specific rules so that spiritually I could say, you know what? It's just a game. And these elements are not going to be part of what my children are doing. And so Sarah's like, oh, we do cast spells. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, well, no, it's just like I cast a fire spell. Boom. That's the spell,
Yeah.
you know. So in that way, that's I can definitely be fine with that. But no, there are a lot of people out there who take D&D and a lot of other role playing games to a
To an
much different level than I would be comfortable.
unhealthy level.
In my opinion, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Becca, nice to see you.
Hi, Becca.
She keeps saying, "Do you have a notify me button?" Yes. So
Yeah,
I've
but
actually put a reminder in every Tuesday and Thursday at noon to click on this so that it will have the notify me with enough hours that people can kind of go ahead and say, yes, I want to be notified for that. So, hi, Becca. So good to see you here. People play a lot of D&D, tend to be good storytellers. Absolutely. Both of my girls,
yep.
excellent storytellers. My mom is so 100% against D&D. She truly thinks it's 100% satanic. She cannot believe that I allowed my children any part of it. And she's absolutely floored that my pastor used to play D&D when he was young. So like he's like, but he's a pastor. Yeah. Mhm. And anything not done to an unhealthy level can be done in a healthy way,
Yes, it can.
and that's just Yeah, you just have to kind of know what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. You have to know your standards.
Well, when I
So,
did that with Christina, there was a show that I didn't want her seeing,
hmm,
and it was, oh, something I can't remember, but guess what? My grandmother allowed her to see it.
exactly. Yep.
Great-grandma got away with so much.
Yeah.
But, it was like when I had the internet with Christina when she was growing up, I said, "Okay, get the internet," but the minute you change your passwords, the minute any of that happens, I check your messages a lot. Guess
Yep.
what? You lose it.
Yep.
And
Right.
there was one time where she was having something happen and
Mm.
had to step in because it was
Yep.
far from okay.
Yep.
And, it got put to a halt real quick.
Yep.
And I told the person, it was local. I said, "You message her one more time, I'm calling the police." But
Wow.
that's where we have to step in, especially when you're dealing with those children on the special needs scale. You have to be 10
Yep.
times more vigilant. I hate to say that they're naive, but they're to some degree they are, and they don't see the dangers like everybody else does.
Right.
And a lot of them just want friends, and so
Yes.
they're willing to do
Yes.
about anything to get them,
Yep.
not realizing that this could put them in danger. And I
No,
just said,
exactly.
"Change your passwords, and I can't read your messages, it's gone."
Yep.
And she didn't. That was the deal
Good.
for a very, very long period of time
Yes. Yep.
until you're old enough where I can trust you, but as long as you're under 18, ain't gonna happen.
I was gonna say certain in certain cases, it's not old enough that I can trust you. It's old enough that I'm not allowed to, you know, because my kids, I guess once they hit 15, 16, 17, I really had to rely on the fact that I had raised them well.
Yeah,
I had raised them with standards versus rules. And in our house, a couple of times we had people come live with us, young women in particular, come live with us who had no other option of a place to live. And one of them was the good friend of one of my older daughter. And so I collected everybody in this new girls' room, and I'm like, okay, girls. And said to this other person, I said, okay, in this house, we don't have standards or we don't have rules. She looks at me, we have standards. Girls, tell her what the standards are. The standards are you will go to school, you will do your homework,
yeah,
you will. And then there are things like you won't have a boy in your room. Sex will not happen under my roof. Drugs will not happen under my roof.
yeah,
All of these things, like I can't control what she's going to do outside of my house, but inside my house,
yeah,
these are the standards. And it's rule makes it something so people want to break it. A standard is something you have to live up to or live down to
yeah,
in certain, uh, yeah, in certain examples. So I having the girls tell this young lady what the standards were in our house. Also, the girls are all in when it comes
yeah,
to this. It's like, okay, yeah, this is what we live by, and this is why we live by it. And I never had to worry about my kids doing certain things. Never. Because we lived with a different standard
yeah.
than other families, right? Right,
It's
right
a
from the
neat way
get
of
go.
looking at it.
Well, from the get go, like we're talking kindergarten, grade one, two, people come home. Oh, but this person's dating this person, and this is her boyfriend. I'm like, excuse me, you're 7. Boyfriend? No. But mom, okay. So, what is the purpose of dating?
Yeah,
Or what is the purpose of having a boyfriend? Well, then you have a special friend you can hang out with. Can't you just be friends?
yeah,
What's the purpose of a boyfriend? Well, the purpose of a boyfriend is they're very special. I'm like, yep, you can have somebody very special. What's the purpose of a boyfriend? And then we got down to it. It's like, okay, the purpose of a boyfriend is to find somebody you're going to marry.
yeah, exactly.
Are you going to marry the person that you call your boyfriend in grade 2, in grade 6, in 10th grade, in 12th grade? Not necessarily.
Yeah,
And
It
you
could
might.
happen, but
It could happen, and I've known places where it has.
yeah,
But until the time when you are at that place where you can say, yes, let's get married,
yeah,
friends is great. Because
yeah,
if you're not friends with a person, like Reese and Tommy, that's how Doug and I started.
yeah.
I was dating a different guy. I was engaged to a different guy. Doug was there for me. He knew the problems that I had with this other guy and how he was treating me. He knew who I was, and he treated me with respect, even though I didn't always act like I deserved it. He did treat me with respect. And so Doug and I became best friends before we started dating. We've been together in 4 months, I believe. I think it's 4 months. It'll be 34 years that we've been together. So I can truly say I see a huge future for Tommy and Reese.
Yeah.
I just, because I know my past, and I know how our relationship has continued with grace and mercy and laughter and love and friendship above all else. Because there's times when I don't like him very much,
Oh, yes.
but I love him to no end,
Yes.
right?
Well, it's like Josh and I. We became friends.
Yep,
We started trying to do the online dating from a distance. It didn't work, but we stayed friends. I mean, we've
yep,
known each other since 97, and we got married in 2007, but we'll be
yep,
celebrating 17 years, but we've known each other, goodness gracious,
exactly.
327 years.
Yeah,
And he said to me, he said, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you. You fight for me every which way,
yeah,
you fight for me when I don't need it. And he said to me at times, when I know what his body is going through and I know what
yeah.
people look frustrates me to some degree. Um,
Mm,
he doesn't show his picture very often, but people will look at him with the weight that he is, and they will see that him walking with a walker in his 40s and everything, and they'll think, "He's just eating stuff." Well, no, he doesn't. I served him a chicken Caesar salad today.
yeah,
He doesn't. But he deals with the diabetes. He deals with the
yeah.
gastroparesis. He deals with the complications of this
Oh,
recent
this,
genetic
uh,
testing that came through that answered a lot of questions that is going to also cause him a lot of issues as he gets older, unfortunately.
mhm,
It was probably the reason why he wasn't able to have children of his own, but look what God provided. So
yeah,
the looks I know his family gives when they see, oh well, and some of his family and some of the people,
yeah.
oh look at him and he just eats a lot. We don't have soda in the house. We don't have
No.
ice cream. We don't have cake. He's not sitting there eating a gob stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it is the fact that this
I've
man
got a
is on.
cookie. You want a cookie? It's
Sure.
a delicious cookie. It's oatmeal raisin with
I made
cinnamon.
I made
Delicious.
I made cream cheese muffins today.
Yum.
Um, Not cream
Mm.
cheese, cottage cheese muffins, which
Okay.
actually didn't turn out too bad, even though I would tell you to use a cake liner. The next thing I'm gonna try is doing like the flatbread.
Oh,
They
yeah,
use
the
cottage cheese for flatbread. But I took the muffins before I came on. I had a cup of tea and I cut them and I put like some brown sugar cream cheese on them and they were delicious. But then they're high
nice.
protein muffins
Yes,
because you've made them with cottage cheese.
absolutely.
But
Yep.
he is on an insulin that normal insulin runs here. So Josh
Mhm.
is on insulin that will is literally um it's a very strong insulin. It's like every 5 of units of regular insulin is 1 unit of his own.
What's the name of the insulin?
It's R, but I can't remember it. It's a
Mm.
super concentrated insulin.
Wow.
So, because
You said he has an insulin pump too, right?
he has an insulin pump, but he's
Okay.
extremely insulin resistant. Like last night, I fell asleep probably about 3 o'clock, And he
Right.
woke me up at 4 o'clock. He goes, "You gotta go to the refrigerator and get me a peanut butter sandwich, I'm crashing." And that's with his Dexcom on.
Wow.
Um, and I was like, "You I really didn't wanna get up," but I got up and got
Well,
him
yeah,
a
no.
it was like, "Okay, just give me a minute to get my bearings in check."
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
but h unfortunately, to be able to do the insulin so that his sugar stays somewhat in level, it also
Yeah.
does weight gain.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
there's a whole thing, but people look at him and look at the way he's weighted, right now at like 350, and they'll go, "Oh, well, see, if he didn't eat so much and if he didn't do that." uh, Y'all don't know. It's like
They have no idea.
it's like why are we'd have no reason to sit and judge. I kind of understand to some degree because of how I had to leave my first marriage with what Reese had to go through to leave hers.
Right.
But we don't know, and we don't have the right to sit here and judge whatever she had to do to get out of it, or
Absolutely.
sit there and judge whatever somebody else is going through.
Yep.
If even when they talk about their story, it's their story.
Absolutely. Yep.
If
Absolutely.
you want to sit there and judge, go and judge, but do it someplace else.
Yep. And
You know?
that's the last stream we had with Crystal and I. We ended up talking a lot about scripture and Bible verses and that kind of stuff. And the one scripture that really applies here is judge not, for you or you will be judged.
Yeah.
So people just take that and say, oh, don't judge me, that's God's job. Well, okay, hang on. Don't judge, for the way you are judged will be how you are judged.
Exactly.
So if you're judging somebody like this, don't expect grace like this, right? So people need to be careful looking at your
Exactly.
husband. They need to be careful looking at any of us
Yes.
and saying, okay, there's this in their life, there's this in their life, there's this. I'm going to judge all of that. I can honestly, truly say I have forgiven people for some really nasty stuff in my life because I know that's God's to deal with. And if I didn't forgive it, that's not saying it's okay at
No, it's
all.
not.
It's taking away the power over me, right?
Exactly.
So, with your family member who won't talk to you, with people judging Josh, with all of these things, that's rough. That's really, really rough.
And people look at me and they'll say, "Well, you're on here, you're talking, you should be able to go out there and work." But they're not seeing
Yeah.
the insomnia that comes. I've battled with that probably the past 2 weeks where I've fallen asleep about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
They're not seeing that it takes me about an hour for my body to even get to the point of moving around. They're not
Yep.
judging when, and eventually that won't be an issue anymore when it's that time of the month, but they don't see me in bed 3 days because the pain is so bad.
Right.
They're not seeing the back issues I have. They're not seeing, even though I'm here and I'm here and I'm sitting here hurting. And, you
Yeah.
know, they're not seeing the the fact that it's a mixed emotion with the medicine that I have to be on. It's the
Yeah.
only medicine that works. But then
Yeah.
is it going to make me sleepy today? Is it not going to make me sleepy today? You know,
Yep.
what is it going to do? Am I going to wind up I've we've you've had me where we're going to do game day and I've had to say to you, I can't.
Yep.
Well, migraine decided to come up at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Have you
So,
invested in one of those hoods?
yes, I did.
How is
Yes.
it?
Um, I love it. I haven't had to use it
Oh,
for a
good.
while. I
Okay.
hope I
Okay.
hope that stays that way. I got
Yeah.
the one that has the neck. They have a neck piece to it, and they have the hood
Oh.
piece. Now, I
Oh.
tried with the heat, and I got too hot too fast, so I couldn't do the heat. But
Right.
I did do the cold. Now, with that being said, when you first take this out of the freezer, it is cold. It gets really
Well,
cold.
Tommy was saying he only keeps it in the fridge. The
Yeah,
freezer
I put mine in
for
the
him because he has
freezer.
no air.
I put it in the freezer, and I will give it about 5 minutes to kind of cool down. But if you can put it on and get through that, like, 5 minutes of really intense cold,
Mhm.
I find out it actually does better in stopping that.
Oh,
But then I
okay.
also have, like, the neck thing, which, ladies, if you're going through that time and you get overheated, it's wonderful. I've gone to the freezer in the middle of the night and put it on. Not that I get that, but if I'm warm or something, I'll put it on the back of my neck, and it just goes on the back and straps around the front,
Mhm.
and it is wonderful. So I got the whole set. Josh got that
Oh,
for my
wow.
birthday.
Okay.
But
All right.
I've used the hood, but you kind of gotta put it on and go, "Okay, I'm gonna go through 5 minutes of intense
Yep.
cold,"
Yep.
but it does.
Okay. All
But
right.
listening doing to and Janet, I got your email, I gotta respond back, and I will. I've been busy
And
crocheting muffin tops.
my husband's going to be home for supper anytime in the not terribly distant future. You'll see that I've been moving around and restless and whatever. It's partially ADD and it is partially because of body pain. I have to move into a
Yeah.
comfortable position, usually for my back or my hips. Anyway, but I do need to go. Thank you, Mary. Thank
You
you.
you should
It
have Christina
was
on and talk about her love and how dogs really just
yes,
did such an
absolutely,
amazing job in really helping her.
absolutely,
That would be a
yes.
good topic, and I told
Her
Alfonso
passion.
to reach out to you too, and
Okay.
some other people, so
Oh, thank you, Mary.
you're
You're
welcome. Any way
wonderful.
we can help,
Okay.
right? It's if we don't grow, we gotta grow together. You're not
That's
gonna do
right.
anything doing it by yourselves,
All right.
so
All
and
righty.
wind
I
comes out
love
tonight.
y'all. Pardon?
I'm doing wind tonight.
Wind.
Wind, yes. So we'll do a stream all night
Okay.
for wind.
Awesome. Okay. I will see you all later.
Bye,
And
everybody.
on Thursday, on the 11th, we will be talking to Kristen Melinda about how our worldview colors our reality. What changes what chicken and egg thing. So we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday, July 11th. So I will see you all on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.